Stars and Stripes Friday night rivals driven by Cruz Chevrolet comes back out to Fort Dorchester as the Patriots try and run their record to 8-0, facing maybe the best quarterback in the area. We welcome you down here to the field. Darren Goldwater and my good buddy Everett German. So let's talk a little bit about this matchup. First, before Dorchester, just a couple games left before the playoffs and one game left before Somerville. They got to take care of business first.
Yeah, we almost saw last week against Stahl a very sluggish performance in the first half by Fort Dorchester. Maybe looking ahead to the Green Wave, they got to pay attention to detail tonight against a very good Ashley Ridge team.
If you talk to folks who know their ball around this area, they'll tell you Fort Dorchester has a defense. That's maybe a college-level defense that's a challenge tonight for Matt Duncan.
Yeah, you're right about that. Matt Duncan already committed to play football at Temple next year. But tonight, this defense, fast, strong, sideline to sideline, they're going to get after Mr. Duncan tonight.
Sideline to sideline is what DeAndre Sabb can do as well. The starting quarterback, he's going to get most of the reps, but not all. Man, he's got some wheels, and he's got an arm.
Well, there's a reason why he also plays running back. So, yeah, we'll see number 9 line up all over the place tonight. Quarterback, running back, the ball will be in his hands often tonight.
Steve LaPrade wants a better effort from his guys. They were trailing Stahl at the half last week. Will he get it? Stars and Stripes Friday night rivals driven by Cruz Chevrolet is coming up next. Done that in a while. Cool. Stars and Strikes Friday night rivals driven as always by Cruz Chevrolet comes out to Patriots Stadium and Bagwell Field. For the second time this year we are at this stadium as the Patriots try and run their record to 8-0 in their final tune-up for the Somerville game next week. Glad you're with us. Darren Goldwater, Everett German. We're waiting for the Patriots to head on out to the field. They took a couple of buses to get field level and are about to come rushing out. Roper St. Francis, Game Time in 10th, brought to you by Roper St. Francis, where experience matters. It is a beautiful night out here in Dorchester County. Temperatures should drop into the mid-60s at worst, so it'll be a perfect night for some football. Here come the Patriots. On senior night, it's a Fort Dorchester team that has come very close over the last couple of years, but hasn't gotten back to that state championship level since 2015. They have an opportunity to do that once again this year, but if you ask Steve LaPrade, Everett, the team that has outscored its opponents to this point 290-60 still has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you want to be peaking at the end of the season. As you mentioned, the big showdown next week against Somerville. Tonight's a great opportunity for the Patriots to work on things that they need to make a strong playoff run.
Everett, our Cruise Chevrolet keys to the game here. First for the Swamp Foxes and the Patriots.
Yeah, I think for Ashley Ridge, they've got to keep the high-powered offense of Fort Dorchester on the sidelines. They need to go on long, sustained drives and just kind of shorten the game to give themselves a chance. If you're Fort Dorchester, you can't think about Somerville. You got to focus on Ashley Ridge. So next week will take care of itself. Come out, dominate. Don't have a repeat of last week in the first half when they trailed Stahl. Come out, focus, take care of business, and then, of course, get ready for the rest of the season.
I think it opened a lot of eyes around the Low Country when it popped up at halftime that Stahl was leading Fort Dorchester. It possibly sparked the club as well. Steve LaPrade tells me today the team had its best week of practice all year.
That's funny that you used the word best. I was going to think probably hardest week of practice all year was probably in store.
It may have been both. We have an offsides here on the opening kickoff, which Ashley Ridge tried to simply angle out there. So Fort Dorchester will have the opportunity to take it or make him kick it again.
And if you're Kenny Walker and the Swamp Foxes, you really have nothing to lose, Darren. You're not expected to win this game tonight. Everything should be a possibility. The playbook should be wide open. Leave it all out on the field because right now you're just playing with, well, just free money. Just go out there and have fun is what the Swamp Foxes should be able to do tonight.
Quajon Simmons back there along with Desisher as Will McCune, the 6-foot sophomore, tees this thing up again. Ashley Ridge coming off a bye week after beating West Ashley. No better time to get a bye week in the lower state of South Carolina than the week before you play Fort Dorchester. Here's Simmons now, whose older brother plays D2 ball at Wingate, and he is stuffed immediately. Malik Holbeck on special teams puts him down. Here are your Spinks starters on the offensive side for Fort Dorchester. Check Damari Joyner there, 65. He is technically listed as a starter. He's dressed, but probably won't actually end up playing today. It will make a big difference for this offensive line when he is ready to go. Hopefully, that'll be next week. And how about this? Sabb doesn't even start Everett as the quarterback. It'll be Zoltan Osborne. Go ahead and beat that name for the true freshman Osborne. And on first down, the Ashley Ridge defense stuffs that out. Big Cameron Petrick, 76. He's going to play both ways today. You see him in the middle of that pile. He's not technically listed as a starter there because he's an offensive line starter, but you're going to see him both ways. Anthony Jackson, 77, is a good one. And when you look at 7 in the middle, TJ Wilson, earlier this year, Everett, Kenny Walker told me TJ Wilson, true freshman, has a chance to be good. That was before they played Cane Bay. And he had 25 tackles in the game.
Yeah, he's averaging 15 a game.
That'll work, won't it? It'll certainly play. Desisher is wrapped up, and it'll be 3rd and long here on the first possession for the Patriots.
Now, Darren, you and I were talking before the broadcast about the quarterback for Fort Dorchester being Mr. Zoltan Osborne. Big size, as you can see, 6'2", about 175 pounds. Darren, I think Coach LaPrade described him as a 15-year-old body but a 21-year-old mind. I expect him to have a high football IQ.
Got a good IQ, got a great arm. And according to LaPrade, a very bright future. Lets that one, pulls it back actually, and ends up going down. How about that opening possession for this defense of Ashley Ridge?
Yeah, TJ Wilson, the first one there. We were just talking about him, the freshman, through 5 games, averaging 15 tackles a game. So you have to think that future is very bright for that young man, and Kenny Walker and his staff could not have asked for a better start against Fort Dorchester.
Joel Seaman handles the punting duties and has to jump and take this one, and it's a fake, and he's down inside the 5. Wow. Chalk that up to something you didn't expect to see today. Delray Ford.
Exactly. The junior didn't really fool anybody here. There's solid pass rush, and as you can see, 3 white jerseys around the Fort Dorchester punter and a big stop. And, we talked about keeping that Fort Dorchester offense on the sideline. Boy, would it be a momentum booster for this Swamp Fox offense. Outstanding field position. 1st and goal from the 5, Darren. Let's see. They must get a touchdown here. Field goals are not going to beat Fort Dorchester.
The line is off balanced heavily to the right with Matt Duncan, the senior quarterback, under center. It's Troy Grant who's smothered in the backfield.
We talked about in the open, Darren. This is a quick, fast Fort Dorchester defense. You see Khalil Gatson right there on the stop. This team, they can run sideline to sideline, a ton of athletes. You're going to have to probably run straight at them, Darren. I don't know if the way to beat them is trying to beat them around the corner.
Grant's had a big year. He's kind of jumped into the spotlight alongside Matt Duncan. He's running for 130 yards a game. He's got 9 touchdowns. 2nd down and goal after a botched fake punt. And Duncan fires it to the corner and over the head of his intended target there.
Yes, Gabe Simmons was wide open in the back of the end zone.
Starters on the offensive side for Ashley Ridge, presented by Spinks. Of course, we'll look a lot at Matt Duncan here. Duncan has more on his plate this year than he has in the past, now that Cunningham isn't around, so he has run the ball very effectively. In fact, he has as many rushing touchdowns, does number 11 there, Matt Duncan, as he does passing this year.
There's Duncan, the younger brother of Steven, now at Western Kentucky. I think he's out for the year with an injury.
Oh, I missed that. Here's the screen to Grant, but it's too tall. And after a 3-and-out was forced, a botched fake punt, the Swamp Foxes haven't been able to move the ball, so the kicking unit is heading out there. Fort Dorchester's defense, the starters, brought to you by Spinks. 91, Emmanuel Johnson. Everett, some good bloodlines for him.
Yeah, the son of Katrina McLean, the 3-time Olympian, USA basketball players. Emmanuel, a great kid, and what a specimen he is physically. A guy that could get a look at the next level.
Will McCune's kick is blocked. The Patriots say, have our muffed punt and take this blocked kick.
Max Garrido, looks like, Darren.
It is Montgomery,
right.
Nacio Montgomery.
And wow, you talk about a momentum swing. You go from having 1st and goal at the 5 to not scoring and giving up a touchdown without your defense either getting back on the field. What seemed like a promising start for Kenny Walker and the Swamp Foxes quickly has turned in favor of Fort Dorchester.
Trying to see where he picked this ball up. It's in the range of an 80-yard return. Maybe 75, nonetheless. Nacio Montgomery, the 192-pound senior linebacker.
Darren, I was going to mention before the even attempt, I was surprised.
Just barely got that through. Seaman, the holder, got it down.
I was surprised that Ashley Ridge was even going for the field goal. Again, you got nothing to lose here. Field goals aren't going to beat Fort Dorchester, but all in all, it still works out well for the Patriots.
Timeout on the field. Fort has jumped on top with their blocked field goal here on Friday Night Rivals. You never know what you'll see when you head out to a high school football game. Quite the interesting start. First of all, for Fort Dorchester, they start their freshman quarterback, not Sab. Then they fake a punt after going 3 and out. That blows up in the Patriots' face. First and goal for the Swamp Foxes eventually turns into a long blocked field goal return for a touchdown, and we're underway.
It's almost as if it was planned by Steve LePrad. Like, offense, you've been struggling, so we're going to let the defense score some points.
Jonathan Guzman is the kickoff specialist for Fort Dorchester. The long leg, you'll see Stephen Herron attempt the extra points. Most of the field goals as well. This will bounce its way back into the end zone. And the Swamp Foxes will begin here.
You know, Darren, sometimes, especially with these kids at this age, high school kids, they just lose focus. And you almost have to wonder if a team like Fort Dorchester, you know, I don't want to say they get bored, but when you manhandle everybody that you play, you know, you have the big game next week. I'm sure the coaching staff of Fort Dorchester has been pounding them all week. Don't worry about the green and white. Worry about, you know, obviously Ashley Ridge, but sometimes it's just hard. So now let's see what Matt Duncan and the Swamp Foxes, let's see how they respond to that last drive that they had down in Fort Dorchester territory.
That's been one of the big things for Steve LePrad this year. Yes, you know, the numbers look great. The team, the fans, you're spoiled in a sense. It's false start here on Ashley Ridge. When you're so good for so long, you become very accustomed to winning.
Right.
To the point where you find yourself down at the half last week, and as Coach LePrad told me today, he said, look, obviously I wasn't happy last week, but maybe it was a good thing. Maybe it's an eye-opener for these guys who really have only played about 8 or 9, in his eyes, good quarters this year. Here's Grant picking his way through, and it gets back almost all that was lost on the procedural penalty.
Like Emmanuel Johnson on the stop for the Patriots. And you're right there. You know, as you go further into the playoffs and deeper, you know, you're not very rarely are you going to have blowouts. You're going to have solid football teams. Of course, all the talk around here is about next week's game against Summerville. And then, of course, from a state perspective, you know, everybody's looking at the potential matchup with Dutch Fork. But there's some good football being played here, you know, in the Low Country. And Ashley Ridge, they have the potential to do it, but they're going to almost have to play a perfect game if they want to pull off the upset.
They always do have some athletes. Look at that arm. It bounces off the intended target there. I believe it was Gabe Salmons. It was, check it was Brown, number 2. And that ball just shot up in the air. He's fortunate it wasn't picked.
That was a Sanchez fastball right there. But it's a situation where you have to throw a catchable pass. You know, kind of want to lead that guy up the field so that we can catch and run. But yeah, that one, you probably need to throw a changeup. I mean, not a changeup, but just a little slower fastball. But what an arm by Matt Duncan.
Not the Annabelle Sanchez changeup, because those things can flutter in on you a little bit for the national starter, who will throw the first pitch in about 15 minutes. Duncan avoids that pressure, and then Duncan is caught and he's down.
Sacked by Jaden Gardner, the 5'11", 218-pound junior linebacker. Duncan looked like he was going to be able to escape. I think it was Emmanuel Johnson. No, that was actually on the pass rush, Brandon Johnson. Johnson not able to get him on the ground, but still a sack by the Fort. And looks like, Darren, the Fort should start off with great field position here.
Have a great athlete, Desasure, maybe the best athlete on the team, waiting for the punt on the plus side of the 50. And this one only drifts him about 5 yards closer to the Ashley Ridge side. Here he goes. Did he outkick the coverage? Desasure to the other sideline. He's got the punter to beat, and he's inside the 5.
Yeah, Cam, I'm trying to see who made that touchdown-saving tackle for Ashley Ridge.
I think 9 Gordon. If not, it was 8 Batchelor.
It was, but there's a penalty flag, however, Darren, on the play back at the 43-yard line. But a great return by Keith Desasure. You just can't let the tackle, you can't let the punter tackle you. So he did a good job of sidestepping that guy, but just couldn't quite take it to the house. But I'm pretty sure probably be a block in the back. Well, no.
There you go. Offsetting. So we'll redo the kick.
Yes.
That's a win for Ashley Ridge, all things considered.
And now if I'm the punter of Ashley Ridge, my lineman, punt team, just ran all the way down the field. And then they had to run all the way back. They're tired. If it's me, I kick the ball out of bounds and not allow Ford an opportunity to return this, as it looks like now Quay Simmons back deep there. And maybe this is sure he got tired from running down on that last punt return.
There's not much drop-off from an athletic standpoint between the two. Here's Simmons and Everett. You had it nailed. That ball out of bounds at midfield. The Patriots will take over there.
And a great punt. I mean, he pinned it right where he wanted it. Solid job by the punter of Ashley Ridge.
So now this Fort Dorchester team that is scoring over 40 points a game has their second offensive possession. They started with the football, backed up, and then still ended up on the board first after blocking and returning a field goal. And we still have not seen DeAndre Sabb. It's senior night, and the senior stalwart hasn't been on the field. This is Zoltan Osborne again. Osborne will pick up positive yards before he's out of bounds. Looks like he got about 4 there.
And then made the safe play that time. Didn't want to throw the ball in harm's way. Pretty decent wheels. But as a freshman, Darren, he will learn, get what you can, and then get out of bounds. You don't want to take too many of those hits.
Let's check in with Trooper Bob. There's a lot of traffic on the field there for Zoltan Osborne, but we're talking Stars and Strikes, aren't we?
Absolutely, Stars and Strikes. We got Brian Taylor here with Stars and Strikes, general manager, assistant general manager. Hey, so you offer adult parties there?
Yes, we do. So adult parties, you can book it out with us. You get some bowling with that. You also get some great food, unlimited soft drinks. So you come out there and you just have a good time with us. Get some game cards with it too, and everybody just has a great time with each other.
We got Christmas coming up. You also heard you have a play date with Santa. What's that about?
Absolutely. It's going to be almost like a breakfast with Santa feel. It's going to be on December 8th from 11 to 1. It's going to be $19.99 per person. You just call the center to get it booked out for us. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have everything from typical pancakes and sausage and bacon and eggs. Then we're going to go out there and do some bowling and have a great time.
Absolutely, and I heard you guys got a size 15 for me too.
Absolutely, yes,
all right,
sir.
We got a check presentation here. Let me get the check right here. $500, Stars and Stripes. And assistant principal, Brian Patrick for Fort Dorchester.
Stars and Stripes, proud to present each participating homeschool the check for $500. The grant provides each school with extra funding to help make their school great. Over the past 9 seasons, Friday Night Rivals and our sponsors have donated over $100,000 to Low-Country students and schools. Congratulations from MyTV Charleston, ABC News 4, and Stars and Strikes. Second down and 10, and a deep drop to set up the screen here. This is Dwayne Wright, who holds on to that football and tumbles down inside of the 20. He doesn't think he went down, but he was ruled down. It'll be a first down.
A great screen executed by Fort Dorchester. A lot of pass rush. Good job by the offensive lineman getting out in front and running through those arm tackles. You can't let an arm tackle bring you down. So a nice job by the Patriots.
Dwayne Wright is the starting back now. Mel Wilder could get some carries as well. Still no Sabb. Here's Wright. Can he get the outside? He does, as he's dragged down there by Khalil Whitaker.
Nice job by Whitaker. Ran the Patriots to the short side of the field. And it's so important, Darren, when they get these opportunities to not allow yards after contact. When you get a hand on them, you got to get them down on the ground. These athletes of Fort Dorchester, they're equipped to kind of run through these kind of loose tackles. So definitely make sure they break down, get in a position to not allow Fort to pick up 3, 4, 5 yards after every play.
Here now on the edge, Wilder's first carry goes the other way. How about that speed? The closing speed of Horlbeck.
Yeah, that's the defense, the effort that obviously Coach Walker wants to see in terms of being able to chase him down from the back, not giving up on the play. Good job of blowing up that shadow block on the outside. Nice stop by the Ashley Ridge defense.
Patriots score to this point was on a long field goal block returned for a touchdown by Maceo Montgomery. Can Zoltan Osborne lead him to a touchdown on a drive that started at about midfield? This is easy. Dwayne Wright gallops in as his offensive line paves the way for a 13-0 lead.
Got to own the line of scrimmage. Pull there. Good job of kicking out that end. He goes in untouched, and the Patriots strike once again.
So since trailing Stahl at the half last week, they have now outscored their opponents, I believe it's 44. If this kick is through, I believe it's 44-0 since halftime of last week. So maybe this Patriot team has found that missing ingredient that Steve LaPrade has been looking for. Good start so far.
Situation, like you said, that wake-up call at the second half of that Stahl game, and it seems like it's gotten their attention after somewhat of a slow start on that opening drive. The outstanding defensive stance has re-energized the offense, and a very impressive drive with the short field for Fort Dorchester.
Just got a quick shot of Steve LaPrade there. You know, he won the Somerville Country Club member tournament earlier this year with his son Tyler. That was in late July. He's not just a golf guy. Used to coach wrestling over at Somerville. And he's done pretty well for himself as a football head coach and a producer of NFL talents.
I'd say you look at the job that Carlos Dunlap is doing for the Cincinnati Bengals, and you see what's going on with Robert Quinn. Boy, has he been a big addition for the Dallas Cowboys. That defensive end position. He's had Byron Maxwell as well, you know, in the NFL. So, yeah, definitely some NFL talent has come through John Bagwell Stadium.
The Rockstar Cheer of the Night coming up at the half, as it always does. Your chance to be interactive. Log on to abcnews4.com/poll, and it'll be your chance to vote for either these ladies of Ashley Ridge or the cheer squad of Fort Dorchester. And we'll bring that one to you at some point during what is a slightly extended halftime because of senior day here today. And, well, like every high school, when it's senior day for the football team gets honored, the cheerleaders get honored, the band gets honored.
Public address announcer. I mean, everybody gets, you know, recognized on senior night.
Oh, Richard Todd will be recognized more and more. He's starting his own radio show coming up next week, back on 105.5 The Bridge. That is back into the end zone, and the Swamp Foxes will start on the 20 again.
Assure you that this Ashley Ridge offense, they got to get going. You can't really afford to continue to go 3 and out. We talked about having to shorten the game and go on long drives. That's what the offense of the Swamp Foxes has not done to this point. So it's a crucial drive here. You don't want this to kind of get away from you here in the first half.
Yeah, one thing that would be tough to do against the Patriots, there's a lot, but coming back from 3-4 scores, that'll be tough. They've only been scored on in 3 games, by the way. Duncan, too tall again for Grant. Maybe Everett, as a guy who has the hype that Matt Duncan does, the commitment already to a FBS program up in Temple, you come into a game like this, his last crack at the best defense in the Low Country, maybe a little amped.
Yeah, you know, he wants to put up big numbers against like you said, the best defense here in the Low Country. He doesn't have the pressure of trying to garner an offer. He's already got it. He's already committed. He knows where he's going. So this is an opportunity for him for here to just kind of relax, play his game. It seems like everything is either hard or high.
Well, that one's low and on the ground. Looked like he was covered up by Gardner, possibly Darrell Ware. And again, 3rd and long for the Swamp Foxes.
That's a pretty nasty front four for the Patriots. Just a bad handoff there. The exchange never really happened. And a smart decision by the senior Duncan to fall on it and not try to pick it up and make something happen. That's normally you see disaster. Just get on it, give yourself another possession, or another play, I should say. Now it's 3rd down and long.
Ashley Ridge had a great opportunity at the beginning of this game, but now finds themselves down 2 scores. They've got Grant out in the flat, and Grant hustles for what should be close, but maybe just short of the first down. It is. He's about a yard shy.
Jalen Levine on the stop, the junior defensive back. And that was a better pass by Duncan. As you can see, he took some off of it, kind of lofted it out there to allow his running back get his hands on it. And even that, still a little high and kind of behind him, Darren, but he can kind of get it out in front of him and have his momentum carry him up the field. Maybe been able to pick up those last yard or two that he needed to pick up a first down.
That's a good point. You hear a lot the cliche of game of inches. You put the ball in the right spot, he turns upfield faster, and it is probably a first down. As such, it'll be a punt for the Swamp Foxes.
Dampier has been a busy guy tonight. There's a penalty flag. Play a game, and it just seems like, you know, Darren, when you're trying to pull off an upset like Ashley Ridge, we talked about it. You have to play a perfect game, and penalties, those are things that you can control. You know, control the controllable. You have to be mentally focused, mentally locked in. We've seen a couple of penalties against the Swamp Foxes here early on in the first quarter.
Dampier's kick is short. 2 men are back for the Fort. Both will back away. Desisher was the closest one to it. I think that's the game plan.
Yeah.
Keep it away from Simmons and Desisher at all costs.
And just give your defense a chance to get on the field. The special teams of Fort very dangerous, as we saw, almost a punt return for a touchdown. Of course, we saw the blocked field goal for a touchdown. So, yeah, just kick it away from those guys. You know, it's kind of like in basketball, Darren. If you're going to commit a turnover, I'd rather you just pick it up and kick it out of bounds instead of having somebody steal it and be able to go down and, you know, get a breakaway layup.
The coaches chart that stuff, the live ball turnovers against the dead ball ones. Osborne scrambles out at first chance to do so. He's got the first down and plenty more, and he's still going. First attempt at the tackle slipped right off his back. It was Delray Ford, and the freshman shines with his legs.
Now we can see why Steve LaPratt's so excited about the future in terms of the quarterback position. A solid run by Osborne, 24-yard pickup on the play. So not only does he have a big arm, he's got long legs, and he showed it on that particular play.
Osborne's taken every snap this game for Fort Dorchester, still without seeing Sad, as Dwayne Wright is wrapped up quickly. That's a freshman right there. Christian Garland, 48.
So Anthony Jackson, the big 6'1", 320-pound senior nose guard. I wonder how many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches he eats on a nightly basis.
Well, stick around for the Synovus peanut butter and jelly contest, because the numbers that these two schools put up this week were excellent. Not going to spoil it for you, though. Here's Desisher.
Great block.
Yeah, nice moves, too. Shiftiness to get himself outside. And that's another first down. Colby Harmon with the tackle.
Keith Desisher needs to go shake Quay Simmons' hand, because that block right there kind of freed him to pick up the additional yards. Also, DeQuez Washington, the wide receivers of Fort Dorchester, doing a nice job of keeping the secondary from coming up the field and allowing their teammates to pick up additional yards. Great job blocking by Fort Dorchester.
Second straight possession for the Patriots that started in great field position, but this one isn't going anywhere, as TJ Wilson, Everett pointed out, 15 tackles a game he's in the backfield.
And that dude's a freshman. It seems like every week, Darren, I know you've been off doing your college games, but Dean and I, it seems like each week, Darren, we've been seeing these outstanding freshmen. And I always want to correct myself. Like, I want to call them true freshmen. I keep forgetting. Well, they're all true freshmen in high school. So we can just drop the true word and I'll just call them freshmen, but a nice play by TJ Wilson.
It's funny when you hear professional athletes referred to as freshmen in their rookie year. It'll happen sometimes. Osborne, that's on the money to Simmons.
Jeez.
Goes for, what, about 7?
But just the arm strength there of Mr. Osborne, throwing on the run, didn't even get his feet set. That's a tough throw for a quarterback, even though he's right-handed and he's rolling right. But to have that precision on the move, wow.
Looking forward to seeing Quay's older brother. He is starring at Wingate this year, and I will see them next week. With luck, Wingate holds serve this week, and it'll probably be a top 10 matchup at Lenore Rye. Downfield quickly. Hey, we're just talking about Simmons. May as well give him the ball.
Does he get in?
There's no signal yet.
The officials wearing blue jerseys say yes, but the ones wearing stripes Got their hands in their pocket. It's just a toss sweep here. Nothing fancy. Just get out there. No white jerseys in sight. He turns it straight upfield, smelling the end zone, and I believe Danny's going to come up a yard short.
Officially, he came up about a yard short. That replay may have showed the knee not down. Nonetheless, 17, the big tight end, Demetrius McKelvey is in there. This one straight up the middle for the second consecutive possession. Dwayne Wright finishes it off in the end zone.
That was just easy right now. The offensive line of Fort Dorchester taking control of the line of scrimmage, blowing the front four of Ashley Ridge off the ball, and he, well, just goes untouched. We saw this last week with Keegan Williams at Oceanside. His 4 touchdowns in the first quarter. I don't think he was touched on any of his touchdown runs. Fairly similar to what we saw last week. The Fort now starting to roll.
And Williams is a freshman too, isn't he?
No, he's a senior.
Oh, okay. Thought there was a freshman running back. Thought it was Oceanside. I'm sure there are lots of people who could correct me on that. Nonetheless, 21-0 Fort Dorchester. They have had short fields their last 2 possessions, and their first score came on about an 80-yard return of a blocked field goal. At least in that general range. And that was, you go back to the very beginning of the game if you missed it. Fort Dorchester goes 3 and out. They fake a punt. Everything looked off in the fake punt, and quickly Ashley Ridge had first and goal, couldn't pick up a touchdown, and didn't get points. They settled for a field goal try, and it was blocked and returned for the opening score.
I mean, it was first and goal from the 5, Darren, and the field goal attempt came from like the 12-yard line. So not only did they, I mean, they went backwards, and, you know, we talked about it, that I thought they should go for the, you know, for the touchdown to try to send a message, and just unfortunately, it was just not in the cards for Ashley Ridge.
Just announced in the stadium a first half score, not at the half quite yet. Wando 27, Cane Bay nothing.
Plus, I think the game of the week in the Low Countries, Oceanside and Timberland.
I think that's a very good game.
Both teams undefeated.
Playing up at the rec fields at Park West,
Yeah.
I believe. What a weapon it is at the high school level. They have someone who can neutralize the kick return game by sending it back into the end zone every time. Here's the block punt.
Do you think that was a fake, or did he just kind of got
It looked like
scared?
a fake to me. That's the blocked field goal.
I mean, the perfect bounce, and kind of picked it up in stride, and of course you weren't going to catch him, and that's when it started to go all downhill for Ashley Ridge.
I'll correct myself. Having that view, great work by our crew, will shorten the return to about a 70-yard return of that blocked field goal.
And those guys in the truck, I mean, all season long, Darren. I mean, they've been money on. Even Nick Case. I mean,
Even Nick
I
Case.
mean, those guys have just been on all, and I appreciate those guys in the truck.
Absolutely. They do an outstanding job. And let me tell you something. As someone who is almost never in the truck for a broadcast, because I'm typically doing
In
this.
the booth, right.
If you get the chance to be in a truck, it's unbelievable what goes on in there and how much information is processed in lightning speed by a group of people.
Let's just put it this way. You can't be ADD and sit in that truck.
No.
Because you would go crazy.
There's a lot to look at.
A lot of buttons. If I were in that truck, you'd be hearing, oops, my bad.
Sorry, guys. Let's try that one again.
Guess I wasn't supposed to push that button.
Ashley Ridge is going to try it again. 2nd down and 13. Duncan finally able to step into one. That's a strike over the middle. And it'll be 2 yards shy of the first down. Ratliff, one of his leading receivers, also the backup quarterback, has them close to what would be their first down.
And that's why Matt Duncan is going to Temple. You saw the arm there. Had protection, had a nice pocket, and able to step into that throw and deliver a strike. So a strong throw by Matt Duncan, I believe, there, and they're going to let this quarter run out. And when they come back, a crucial 3rd down and 2 coming up for the Swamp Foxes.
Couldn't say it better myself. You're down 3 scores. You haven't had a first down. You're 2 yards away from it. And we'll have the opportunity when we bring you back here to Fort Dorchester. It's Stars and Strikes Friday Night Rivals. It's driven by Cruz Chevrolet.
These people.
21-0 as we start the second quarter. Big play coming up for Ashley Ridge. Glad you're with us here for Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet and presented by Stars and Stripes. Alongside Everett German, I'm Darren Goldwater. It's a Swamp Fox team that is 1-1 in the region, but a game under 500 overall, facing what is, to this point of the year, every team's toughest test, Fort Dorchester. They'll try and get Grant. They got him, and Grant's got a huge hole. The seas part for Troy Grant, and it's a foot race as he's caught from behind at the 20-yard line.
And that's a big play for Ashley Ridge, straight up the middle. Nice fake by Duncan, and look at the jet. Just took off up the middle, and that's exactly what Ashley Ridge needed to kind of get themselves back into this game, start chipping away at this Fort Dorchester lead.
Worst case scenario, they have flipped the field. Aside from the blocked punt for the touchdown, that was about 70, not 80 yards. Fort Dorchester has started the next possessions right around midfield. So,
and make no bones about it, Darren, this is 4-down territory. There's no need for field goals. You've got to get 7 points here.
It'll be Troy Grant who ripped that thing away from Duncan pretty late and maybe gets about a yard. I think it's McElvey in there, 22, who's picked up that stop. Let's send it back down to Trooper Bob.
Right, hey guys, I'm down here on the field with Rockstar Cheer. We got Kendra and Sharidia. Kendra, Rockstar Cheer. We walk through the doors. What can we find there?
You'll see we have all-star teams as well as recreational cheerleading too. We do tumbling classes for all ages and all abilities.
And how can someone find you? Like, where are you located?
We're at 1270 Drop-Off Drive right next to Lexington. And you can also contact us at info@rockstarcheer.com, or you can find us on Facebook as well.
All right, awesome. Radio, so it's not just tumbling and jumping and cheering. What else is there?
We have an athletic preschool as well as an after-school program. We have Little Explorers classes for ages 2 to 18, boys and girls. We do everything.
Can you teach me how to do a backflip before the fourth quarter?
Maybe a backwards roll.
All right. There you go. You heard it, fellas. We're backwards roll by fourth quarter. Back to you guys.
Trooper Bob's.
Don't forget to vote for your Rockstar Cheer of the night. Go to abc.com/polls.
You heard it from her. Let's go. Back up to you guys.
Trooper Bob's got to be, what, 6'6"?
Easily.
6'7"?
Looks like he's 7'2", standing next to all the guests.
I'd love to see an attempted backflip. See if we can make that happen. Little inside screen there to Shaheed Gladson. That gets back some of what was lost on the previous play during the interview, and we'll see if this is, in fact, 4-down territory.
And a great call. Bobby Marion, the former head football coach at West Ashley, now the offensive coordinator at Ashley Ridge. A solid call there. He knew the pass rush would be coming from Fort Dorchester and kind of invited them up the field and kind of slipped it right behind them. So great call. And now 4th down, and what would you say, Darren, about 4? Yeah, I guess 4. As you take a look there at Bobby Marion, looking at his play sheet, I'm sure he's got a player or two that should be able to pick up 5 yards.
You know, it says a lot about the camaraderie amongst the coaches in the Low Country. It was big news when Bobby Marion was kind of surprisingly let go at West Ashley, and quickly has another job at a competing program under Kenny Walker.
And always a great offensive mind, Bobby Marion was, and you know, you're right, just being able to pick up and get a job immediately. A couple of days. Kenny Walker saw a need, had a need. Was Kenny's former offensive coordinator, Eric Bendig, now the head coach over at Philip Simmons. He's been there for a couple of years. That program still trying to grow. I'm sure old Coach Marion, he's been around for a while. Came from Stratford, went to West Ashley. I'm sure he's got a player or two. If it's me, Darren, I get it to number 3. I don't care how. If I got to run it over to him, throw it to him, just get the ball in his hands in space and let Grant make a play.
Well, whether it was Marion or Kenny Walker, they wanted the timeout before this 4th down play. That, yes, officially is 4th down and 4. That 50-yard run from Grant to start this quarter was their first down. Back in the hands of Grant, and what a job in the open field, chopping him down by Jaheim Wilson.
Did he get enough there?
He did not. I do not believe.
Yeah, Grant should have turned it up immediately, and he kind of we'll see here, nice catch. Right here he needs to get north and south, and he tries to go to the sideline, and I think that cost him first down yardage. Yeah, and that's if you're Grant, that's where you have to kind of have to know where the mark that you need to get to. You have to lower your head and just get there the best you can.
As the Patriots offense takes the field, they will wait with us. Timeout on the field. 21-0 here in the second quarter. All right, we're staying because they're playing, and we want to bring all of the action to you. Osborne remains in as the starting quarterback, and he fires a strike to Antoine Parker, and that'll pick up 2.
Again, there I'm almost having to wonder, Andre Saab, if he's being punished. I mean, it's senior night. Something that's just kind of odd that we've only seen Osborne up until this point.
Here's the pitch to Mel Wilder, and he really just runs into 2 different Swamp Foxes out there. Collins is the 126 who will pick up that tackle. And I was wondering the same thing. We can't speculate, certainly, on anything that may have happened today. I spoke with Steve LeBrad 8 hours ago, and he made it clear that Osborne was going to get a lot of snaps today, but it was much more so about the ability of his freshman than it was anything else. Jeez. Osborne again to Parker. This one picks up chunk yards as Parker spins free of a couple Swamp Foxes and into Patriots territory.
There to make the stop. 25 for Delray Ford for House Original. Again, we see the arm of Osborne on display there. And I mean, when this kid gets time, he steps into it and he delivers some strikes. That was a big-time throw by the freshman.
We told you a second ago, maybe towards the end of the first quarter, about the peanut butter and jelly and the Synovus Challenge this year. We're going to find out more about it right now from Trooper Bob.
We're here with Brian Buffington from Synovus and Caitlin Dale with the Low Country Food Bank. Brian, tell us where you guys stand right now with the PB&J Challenge.
Yeah, so we've had a tremendous response this year from the schools. So far to date, we've accomplished 47,000 pounds of peanut butter and jelly for the Low Country Food Bank, and that's up 50% so far from last year.
And what's it mean for you guys to give back to the community?
Yeah, so I mean, it means a lot to be a part of a company like Synovus that has a leadership that's dedicated to giving back to the community. This is the arena where it's all about giving back, and it's about giving back to the locals, and that means everything to us. So.
Excellent. Caitlin, you're getting all this peanut butter and jelly. How excited are you?
We're so excited. It's so great to be able to get so much peanut butter at one time. It's one of our most asked for items, so we're so grateful for this opportunity.
So you're not looking for food just right before the holidays. We got Thanksgiving coming up. Some families have an everyday need, right?
Right. Hunger really is 365 days a year. We're so appreciative of everything we get during the holidays, but we want to remind folks that the need is really all year round.
Well, keep up the great work. You're doing an excellent job for the community. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. All right, guys, back to you guys up in the booth.
Thanks, Trooper Bob. That was a heads-up play right there for Zoltan Osborne, the freshman who almost took a shot, then realized he could get 10 yards by himself to move the chains. Let's tell you a little bit more about PB&J, continuing to spread the love with the Synovus PB&J Blitz, benefiting Low Country Food Bank. Local high schools that donate the most jars of peanut butter and jelly, they win. Synovus will give $100 to the winning school each week, $2,500 to the overall champ at the end of the season. Half going to the school, half to Low Country Food Bank. Synovus proud to help tackle hunger in the Low Country.
Did he say 47,000 pounds of peanut butter and jelly?
That is what he said.
Wow. Great.
That would make my daughter very happy.
and me.
Yes, and me.
Heads up play here by Osborne, the high snap. And able just to get something when it doesn't go as planned. I got to tell you, Darren, this is obviously my first time seeing Zoltan Osborne. I've been very impressed with this young man. Before 2 plays ago when he took the shot down the field, I mean, you saw his arm strength. this guy is a player for sure.
Yeah, he just fooled our cameras right there, thinking that the ball was given up the middle. Instead, Simmons is spun down there on the outside by Jaden Lee.
Good job by Jaden Lee, just kind of holding on for dear life. Kind of goes back once again to making sure you get these Patriots on the ground where they can't inflict more damage. You almost feel, Darren, like this defense of Ashley Ridge kind of holding on just by threads. You see some young Patriots there, future Patriots. Steve LaPrade starting young, getting the little ones around the program.
Osborne's taking every snap here, and I agree. I saw him week 1, but not a lot. Procedural penalty here against the Patriots. And I remember back then, back in week 1, when Coach LaPrade was talking about his freshman quarterback, saying that maybe in 4 years he's a prize recruit, but certainly in the span of maybe 7 or 8, you're talking a potential top 10 pick. Now there's a lot of room to grow. Certainly weight room is an issue here. He's only 14 years old. But that's the type of talent Steve LaPrade sees.
And Jaden Lee there on the stop. A nice tackle by Lee. And, yeah, I mean, look at all. First of all, I got to figure out what's with the one high sock and the one low sock. It must be a freshman thing for the quarterback, Zoltan Osborne.
Big win for the Swamp Fox defense right there. And during this punt, we're going to send it down to Trooper Bob.
Principal of Fort Dorchester. Breon, thank you for joining us tonight on the sidelines here. I'll tell you, a couple months into the school year already, what are some of the things you guys got going on at Fort Dorchester?
We've got, just tonight, we got a great Friday Night Lights. We had a trunk or treat event for the community. And then the reality is we're a big family. Dorchester County, we're playing crosstown rivals, Ashley Ridge. But ultimately, everything we do, it's for the community. And we got a great atmosphere here. We did the PB&J Blitz. We won that. Thank you to Synovus. All that goes to Low Country Food Bank. And it's just been awesome here. I love it.
You got a big crowd here, a lot of faculty out here, and the students supporting the team. What's that mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, we're a big family. We've got a staffalty, and what that means, that's our staff members and our faculty members blended together. And what that means is every adult that has an impact on the child in our building, that they're part of our staffalty. So we're one big happy family. The crowd over here is packed full, and we're just excited. We love it, and it's all about the community and family. And so that's what Fort's all about, and I love it.
Well, keep up the good work, and thank you for joining us tonight on the sidelines. All right, we're going to watch the last 4 minutes of the game before halftime.
Ashley Ridge takes a timeout, couldn't get set after that punt, and we'll step aside with them. 4:13 left, opening half. Patriots have almost the entire field to go here, down 3 scores. Ashley Ridge backed up in the shadows of their own goal line here against an aggressive, fast, and deep Fort Dorchester defense. Last time the Swamp Foxes had it, they turned it over on downs deep in Patriot territory.
Got to be careful here if you're Ashley Ridge.
They came with a counter again, similar to the long run Grant broke before, and this time he sprints for 20. He had about 50 on the long run the last drive.
Emmanuel Johnson, the defensive end, not giving up on the play, hustling down the field and make the tackle from the back. I thought Grant here might have popped it outside and tried to take it down the sideline. Very impressed with Grant, what I've seen from him this far. 5'7" junior, 160 pounds, but almost like a scat back there. Does a good job when he gets the ball in the open field.
Yeah, look at his numbers. 9 yards a carry, 9 scores, and 130 yards a game. And they're continuing to do what you said early in the game. Getting to the outside will be tough. Find ways to go up the middle. They've been using some misdirection to try and accomplish that.
And you almost have to use the athleticism and the speed up for it against them, and know that they're going to over pursue and maybe not be as disciplined as they're supposed to be. So use that against them, and that's when you hit them with the bubble screen. So you hit them with the middle screen that we've seen Coach Marion call several times tonight, and a lot of success. Just got to be able to finish off drives, and boy, would it be huge for Ashley Ridge if they can get a score here and then they get the ball to start the second half.
Quickly they get one out and pick up another first down. Looks like Rashard Brown. It is.
Jalen Levine on the stop for the Patriots. Take a look at that replay. And that's how you kind of keep the guys honest, Darren. You kind of every once in a while hit them with the fullback trap just to keep those guys on their toes.
Duncan into heavy coverage. That ball complete, not down yet. Shaheed Ladson still fighting, and eventually gets maybe another 2 yards. Khalid Gadsden is the one who stops him.
Yeah, I'm just very impressed again with the arm strength of Duncan, able to get it across the hash mark. Gadsden thought he had the initial tackle, but so I'm sure Gadsden's wondering, so do I get 2 tackles for that play, or do I just get 1? Because he definitely made the initial stop and, of course, was able to finish him off.
Good work by our crew and the officiating crew down there. He wasn't down. That was the right call. We got flags in here just before that snap. I don't believe Fort has been penalized once. The lone penalty Fort Dorchester took was an offsetting penalty, so it doesn't count. And Ashley Ridge has taken their fair share of procedural penalties.
That they have, and again, it's hard enough to get 10 yards. You don't want to make it difficult, or more difficult, I should say, for yourself, and having to pick up 12 to 15 yards. So let's see if Duncan can kind of let it go again and come up with a big play here.
Into traffic, but right into the lap there of Grant. But it was also right in front of Darrell Ware, a 3-star, maybe one of the best linebackers in the state there, 42.
And that pass was considerably better, as you see here by Duncan. It's thrown ahead of him, Darren, so he doesn't have to stop his momentum or to come back and catch it. He hit him in stride, and had Ware not come up with a solid tackle, that would have been a big play for Ashley Ridge. But unfortunately for the Swamp Foxes, again, it's 3rd down and long.
I don't know the current recruiting list of Darrell Ware, the senior. I know last time we were here, we talked with him afterwards, and he had just come back from an unofficial visit about halfway out across the country at a major school. So with luck, things are still going in the right direction for him. There he is again, tracking down Matt Duncan.
And of all of the, you see a little talking going here between Duncan and the defensive lineman of Fort Dorchester. And that's the one thing that's really impressive, Darren, is you just see these guys, these defensive linemen of Fort Dorchester, and they're running just like running backs and wide receivers, just great speed, and Duncan not able to outrun them.
Fort Dorchester, which got the ball first, did not score. They ended up going 3 and out and then botching a fake punt attempt, but they call timeout here with less than a minute to play in the half to see if they can add to this 21-0 lead.
I would totally expect to see an all-out punt block attempt coming out for Fort Dorchester. Maybe only one guy back. So you think about it, Darren, with only 52 seconds left, even if you were to rough the kicker or run into the kicker and give them another possession, you'd have to think the way your defense has played thus far here in the first half, you would be able to keep them out of the end zone.
Fort Dorchester will put both Desisher and Simmons back to return, knowing Dampier doesn't want either one of them to touch it.
Tell you what, Anthony Jackson is back there protecting the punter. You better not run into him.
The flag's in here as well. Ashley Ridge players, palms up in the sky.
Still won't be enough, Darren, for a first down. Still be 4th down and long. I tell you, your upbacks, Darren, you got Anthony Jackson, 6'1", 320, and Cameron Petrick, he's 6'3", 310. I don't see too many people getting through those two. Right there's the protect their punter, Dampier.
Or too many people willing to take him on.
Just like, hey, you know what? You can kick it. It's fine.
Good job by Dampier, though. Keeps it away from both, also keeps it in the field of play, and kills it inside of the 30-yard line with 45 seconds to play.
The offensive coordinator, Ian Rafferty of Fort Dorchester. Of course, Ian played his college football at NC State, one of the top offensive linemen ever play for the Wolfpack. Let's see, Darren, if he tries to get something here over the last 45 seconds, or if they'll be content with a 3-touchdown lead as they go into the locker room.
You know, Trey Turner, the shortstop for the Nationals, is an NC State guy, big supporter of the football team.
Well done.
Even wears like the NC State football helmet at some of the celebrations so far.
Well done. I wasn't sure how you were going to be able to work in the baseball game. Outstanding. Very, very good, Darren. I mean,
that's 2, by the way.
That's right.
You already missed 1.
That's right. I did miss the first. Talking about Sanchez and floating it. You're right there. I mean, hey, that's why you get paid the big bucks.
Of course, this is the big game in town tonight. Fort Dorchester trying to run its record to 8-0. And I'm sure they have some revenge on their mind for last year's loss to Somerville. Osborne protected well. That ball on the money. Simmons can't bring it in, though. Whitaker right behind him.
That's a big hit. The secondary of the Swamp Foxes. And that ball was right on the money, as you mentioned, Darren. That's a ball that has to be caught. Only good thing about that, Darren, is the incomplete pass stops the clock. So Fort Dorchester looking to add some more points right before the half.
Long way to go, however. Let's see if they can break something on the ground. That's not there. And the Fort is not quick to call its timeout. So this first half will be completed without DeAndre Sabb on the field, the senior quarterback, a dual threat quarterback with the opportunity to play at the next level at probably multiple positions. It's been all Zoltan Osborne as the quarterback for the Patriots.
And he is dressed. We see him on the sideline. But Osborne's done a nice job here in the first half of running the Fort Dorchester offense.
And that offense puts up 14 points. The special teams put up the first 7 on a blocked field goal, returned 70 yards. And then the offense took advantage of 2 short fields for touchdowns after that. So at the half, it's 21-0 Fort Dorchester. And Steve LaPrade, who talked very openly today about, yes, of course, this is a very talented team. The goals are certainly where they always are. To end in, what is it, Columbia, or is it Clemson this year? I think it's up in Columbia.
It's in Columbia.
All right,
yeah.
To end there for the state championship game. But he hasn't been thrilled with how his team has played. They've got a shutout on the board through a couple of quarters here. Steve LaPrade is with our Trooper Bob.
Hey, Coach. 21-0. You were able to hold them for the last 5 minutes or so from scoring. How proud are you from this team?
I'm proud of them. Ashley Ridge got a good ball club and hold them scoreless first half. That's great. Our defense played good. We got back here backed up, made some mistakes on our first possession, and hey, they stood strong right there. That was big time for us.
What would you like to see more from your team in the second half?
We just got to get more consistency on the offense. We're just not scoring like we need to be. We should have a couple more touchdowns. So hope we can go in there and get it straight and come out here second half. I think, we got to kick it off, but hopefully we can get on down the field and score some points.
Thank you for your time, Coach. Good luck in the second half. There you have it. Straight from Coach LaPrade. Back to you guys.
Horlbeck, meant to say Osborne, looked pretty good. Getting all the snaps at quarterback, and the defense obviously strong. 21-0 at the half. Coming up, the Roper St. Francis halftime show. Welcome to the Roper St. Francis halftime show. We understand that your health and those you love matter most. At Roper St. Francis, experience matters. Well, we've heard from David Ehrler Law Offices and Riders Law Group all throughout the year. Let's hear from Scott Eisberg back in the studio right now for more.
Another week, another two scholar athletes presented by the Ehrler Law Firm. Here's Margaret Stipa from the Ehrler Law Offices. And how special is it for you guys to present this award week after week?
It's very impressive when students are able to balance academics with a healthy, team-focused lifestyle. So it's something that they really deserve.
For you guys, why do you do it? Year after year, it's something that you've almost become synonymous with on Friday Night Rivals.
We love to follow the students throughout the season and watch their accomplishments.
For you guys, what is the most satisfying thing? When you talk about this award week after week, year after year, what's the most satisfying thing kind of in your heart, if you will?
I would say presenting that check and then following them throughout their college career and continuing to follow those accomplishments. You know,
David's name is not just on the office, he's personally involved. If you can, just talk a little bit about how personally involved he is with this whole process.
Of course, we love to have our office be a part of the community as much as possible. It's very important and sets a great example for everyone.
That's Margaret Stipa from the Ehrler Law Offices. Congratulations to this week's Scholar Athletes.
Well, every week, Ehrler Law Offices, Riders Law Group highlights those scholar athletes from the participating schools. Let's show you them right now. Cade Ratliff from Ashley Ridge, a 4.57 GPA. That's solid. Also volunteers as a coach for youth football and with children's ministry. How about for the Patriots? You see her there, Faith Jones, a GPA of 4.27, 2 times the softball defensive MVP. She's going to go on and play softball at Winthrop. She's also in the teacher cadet program. These students have the opportunity to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. Congratulations to Cade Ratliff. from Ashley Ridge and Faith Jones of Fort Dorchester. More coming up at the half, including your chance to get interactive with our Rockstar Cheer of the Night. That's coming up on Stars and Strikes Friday Night Rivals, driven by Crew Chevrolet. It's the Roper St. Francis halftime show. We understand your health and those you love matter most. At Roper St. Francis, experience matters. You know who else has experience? RKO Total Graphics in downtown Charleston. They got tons of experience. They make trophies like this all the time and have provided our trophy for a couple of years now on Friday Night Rivals. So we thank RKO Total Graphics in downtown Charleston for producing that beautiful Friday Night Rivals trophy. Let's check out some highlights from last week. I understand there weren't any from the 70-0 game.
That's all right, but we got some from Vegas as he peels it right inside the
Look
5.
at the sponsor. It's sponsored by Terrible.
That's not a terrible play as he bobbles it, gets it back together, and goes down the left sideline. That takes a little bit of concentration here, Darren. Look at this. Knocked out your hand. Boop, boop. Like the tip drill, right back to him.
Solid.
From Mobile, Alabama. Another tip drill.
Was that Michigan?
Did he catch it sitting?
Oh, maybe Iowa.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, you got the M's on the helmet. Yeah, that's Michigan.
2 feet and a butt end. There's a block punt.
Catch it.
In the air, rumbling, stumbling, the J.J. Watt wannabe able to take it into the end zone from Fresno. Boom. Come on. And he looked like he missed it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was actually blocked.
Jeez, Omaha, Nebraska. Whoa, you got to look out. You saw that one coming.
We got balls bouncing everywhere.
He's going to feel that as he takes it back to the house. They got a short replay of that. He got absolutely blown up. Columbus. Is it Georgia or Ohio there?
That's in Georgia.
But that's another tip drill. These guys with the concentration. Oh, man.
Whoa.
Look, he didn't see that milk truck come in, but boy, did he get crushed. Milwaukee. It's not Aaron Rodgers. It's Doug Flutie. He just throws it up for a touchdown in the another off a deflection. And he caught it off deflection. Touchdown. Just throw it up. Tip it to your teammate, kick it, and bam. That's using your hands, your feet, everything. But a touchdown there in Milwaukee, and that's your highlights.
The Doug Flutie immaculate reception combination.
There you go.
With equal stakes on the line. Huge stakes here as well. Halftime, 21-0 on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Crew Chevrolet. It's the Roper St. Francis halftime show, continuing to roll along from Patriots Stadium. We understand that your health and those you love matter most. At Roper St. Francis, experience matters. Here is your Rockstar Cheers of the Night. Log on to abcnews4.com/poll and vote. Do so. Watch this.
Yell A-R-H-S. Hey, Sid, get louder. Yell A-R-H-S. Hey, Sid, get louder. Yell A-R-H-S. Hey, Sid, get louder. Yell A-R-H-S. Come on, crowd, let's hear it. Get up on your feet. Yell for the best, 'cause the best can't be beat. Patriots! 1, 2. Come on, Patriots, let's go. G-G-O! 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 Come on, Patriots, let's go. Rock that 1, 2. Let's go! Let's go!
All right. Will it be the blue, red, and white, similar to the Nationals and Fort Dorchester's cheer squad, or Ashley Ridge? Log on at ABC News 4. That'd be abcnews4.com/poll. And vote for the Rockstar Cheer of the Night. We will remind you again in the third quarter, and then we're going to give you some results. Speaking of results, scores around the Low Country, sir.
Yeah, taking a look at halftime score, and I just got a text message. Actually, Oceanside now leads Timberland at the half, 21-20. So as expected, the game of the week in the Low Country is a good one over there in Mount Pleasant. Wando all over Cane Bay at the half. Same for Berkeley all over Stratford, while Goose Creek in a dogfight with James Allen, 14-7.
A revival year of sorts for the Gators over there at Goose Creek.
Yeah, Jason Winstead's done a great job there. As Darren, we were talking earlier about just inside the truck, and this kind of gives you a little insight into what it looks like back there.
Look at all those little boxes. That's our director.
There's
Hi, Jason.
Yeah.
Jordy handles a lot of our graphics.
I mean,
Sorry, forgot that one name.
Just look at all the buttons. I mean, that's good stuff.
And there's our audio room back there. You don't see Nick Case because he's the one directing this video and producing it and editing it.
Nick's the man. I give him a hard time. He's the man.
Just does it all. All right. Halftime will continue. Coming up, we're going to hear from Trooper Bob, a special message from Low Country Orthopedics. We are getting set for the start of the third quarter here. Fort Dorchester with 2 offensive scores and a blocked field goal, returned about 70 yards for a touchdown. That started it. This was the first possession, though, Everett. 3 and out, then this fake punt didn't really work.
Yeah, we were talking about you didn't want that start for Fort Dorchester. Unfortunately, Ashley Ridge not able to capitalize. They attempt the field goal, and as you see here, blocked and returned for a touchdown by the Patriots, the first score of the night.
After that, it was all Zoltan Osborne who took every snap for the Patriots. He didn't throw one into the end zone because he handed it to Dwayne Wright a couple of times. He walked in once, and on the next possession, both of them coming on short fields, the Patriots got into the end zone once again. So they scored early to go up 21-0. And then it's been a little bit of a stalemate since, because Ashley Ridge has found a little bit of a rhythm, able to pick up a first down, their first of the first half, on a 50-yard run from Grant. Grant later broke off about a 20-yard run and started to open some things up over the middle, while Matt Duncan certainly became more comfortable as that half wore on, settled down. We saw him miss high a lot. That's always an indication that you're a little bit amped up.
Yep.
And once he started to get that thing back down, step into the ball a little bit, Matt Duncan calmed down. Could have been worse right now for Ashley Ridge, who will get the ball to begin this second half.
Yeah, plenty of positives, just unfortunately did not result in points. So that's what Ashley Ridge will have to do. They'll get the football to start the second half, as you mentioned, Darren, and they're going to have to capitalize. This game is not over by any stretch of the imagination. You're just down, 3 touchdowns, but time is not on your side, so you're going to have to take advantage every time you have the football.
Halftime was extended by about 5 minutes for some Senior Day festivities and a very long production from the band. And that's why we're probably just a touch late getting the second half underway. But that gives us a chance to hear from Kenny Walker, who's with our Trooper Bob.
Yeah, guys, I'm here with the coach. Coach, you got a second half still to go. What do you want to see from your team?
Well, I mean, it took us a while to settle into the game. The blocked field goal for a touchdown kind of got us back on our heels. But once we settled in, I liked how we played. They're going to make some plays, but defensively, I thought we stuck in, hung in there. And offensively, we're moving the ball. We just got to finish drives.
Any last-minute changes?
No, just maybe a couple. Try to get a little bit more pressure on the quarterback. But other than that, we like how the guys played in the first half. We just got to cut out on some of the mistakes and try to get a big play to get a momentum back.
You want to change it up from the ground or the air, or you want to stick with it?
We got some things we think we can get in the air, but kind of depends on what they give us. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you for your time. Best of luck in the second half, Coach. Thank you. There you have it. You heard it from the coach. So we still got another half to go. Still got a lot of time. Back to you guys.
I think the biggest question for us to find out is he going to try to stretch the field a little bit, Kenny Walker, take some shots, although that means his offensive line will have to hold up against a very formidable front. And on the other side, DeAndre Sapp, is he going to play? If not, we don't know why, but he did not play in the first half, although he was dressed and seemingly healthy.
Well, the one thing is we've seen from Zoltan, Osborne, the quarterbacks we see here, they're warming up. It's Osborne. I mean, he's done a nice job of running this offense. The defense has done what they're supposed to do. So, almost in some sense, if it's not broke, we really need to fix it. But, for Ashley Ridge there, yeah, I mean, we know that Matt Duncan can throw the football, but he's going to have to be able to have finesse sometimes. He's going to have to know when to zip it in there. And like Kenny Walker said, if they can connect on one big play, the key is maybe they're going to have to score from a distance instead of trying to go, obviously with a long, sustained drive because of the time.
I guess if you're DeAndre Sapp and if you're Steve LaPrade, good odds that this team will be at home again in the playoffs.
Yes.
So good odds this is not the last time the seniors on this team play in front of this crowd. But it is Senior Day, and DeAndre Sapp still with the same attire that he had in the first half. Fully dressed with the towel over his head.
The situation if you get into the playoffs and, let's just say they're able to stop Sapp, and you're going to have a passing attack. At least it won't be Osborne going in cold with really no experience. So
This is the current stats. So this is not final yet. So Ashley Ridge, get on it. We have 500 votes. Now more than 500 votes in, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
So good job so far, both schools. I remind you, because I always point this out, it is almost impossible to beat the home team in this, but it has happened. So that means Ashley Ridge fans, get out and vote.
See, I would think it'd be the opposite because the visiting team they don't want to drive here.
I agree.
And all the home team fans are, they're here.
I agree. Certain things, you just don't understand. And you just say, okay, it's the way it is. So the Patriots will kick off to start this second half.
That's what it is, Darren. You just heard the PA announcer tell people that the cheering competition is going on, and to log on to abcnews4.com to vote. So that's why you see all these phones coming out. People are voting for the Patriots.
That voice, Richard Todd, who was on the air for, I don't know how long he was on WTMA. But it was about the most popular show you could find in the Low Country until Bobby Harton came along, knocked him out of there. And Richard Todd coming back to morning radio starting on Monday. He'll be on 105.5. He's pretty pumped about it. We are too. It'll be like riding a bike for Richard.
Pumped like the kicker, Jonathan Guzman, who just calmly placed that kickoff in the end zone. So the Swamp Foxes 80 yards, Darren, away from their first touchdown of the night.
Every kick thus far from Guzman has gone into the end zone. Duncan pulls it. Duncan isn't going anywhere. That's Coswell Gibson, 49, one of the seniors out there. That play was done from the time it was snapped.
Looked like someone just missed the block there. Yeah, they were trying to get the screen over here onto the left side, and like you said, give credit to Gibson. Is able to bust right through and get Duncan on the ground. As great of a thrower as Duncan is, he has to have time, and so they can't give him time to, get the ball off. It's going to be a long night for this Ashley Ridge offense.
The strength of this Fort Dorchester team is its front seven. It's loaded. And here they come again. Immediately. Duncan doesn't have a chance to breathe, and Gibson's on top of him again.
Yeah, an all-out blitz. That's roll call at the quarterback. I'll meet you there. And as you saw, they shot out like out of a cannon. 3 Patriots there, led by Emmanuel Johnson. Gibson's also there. And the final Patriot here to bring him down. So you're right there. And this front seven, aggressive, big, fast, athletic, everything you want in your linebackers and your defensive line.
They get a lot of kudos for their secondary, as they should. They can rotate guys in and out pretty easily. But for my money, it's those guys up front. But some misdirection has gotten to him a few times, and it's allowed Grant to bust a few. Khalid Gadsden, the free safety, makes the stop on the edge.
You almost have to try to get guys running into each other. He's really done a nice job when they've been able to kind of free him, but just those running lanes just not there because of how quickly this Fort Dorchester defense just recovers. You think there's a hole there, and 2 seconds later, there are 4 blue jerseys there to greet you. So once again, unfortunately, the Swamp Foxes will have to punt it away to Fort Dorchester.
Flag here. Fort Dorchester really doing what they can to get a hand on this ball in a return game. Another false start. At times, the Fort has put 2 men back. That's what they have now. But the difference is they have shifted them a little bit towards the short side of the field, which is where Dampier has mostly been angling his kicks to his right.
He's in the end zone, so he's got to get this ball off quickly, not give up a block punt.
And he kicks it right to Desisher at the 39-yard line.
Oh, boy.
Desisher with a seam. Whitaker gets turned around, and it's Desisher with a flag in. As Whitaker got turned around, there was a block that went right back at him, I believe.
I think it was Khalil Gatson, the guilty party, if I'm not mistaken. As you see right here, looks to bounce it outside. Nothing there. Here comes Gatson at the bottom of your screen. And is that what they're going to call a block in the back? That's where he threw it. It looks like the penalty flag. So still it'll be outstanding field position for Fort Dorchester as they'll start this drive in Ashley Ridge territory.
Wow. Oh. So targeting, as any college football fan knows, that is not technically a rule at the high school level. So blow to the head, which
Right
you
there.
saw it. It's pretty clear.
It almost seemed like the Ashley Ridge, it looked like he lowered his head as well. Now the offense, this high-powered offense, will be back on the field. And if it's me there in the first play, I'm going to the end zone. But no, instead they'll.
You don't know Simmons
pitch
isn't going to the
ahead.
end zone because he's doing it with his legs. They went to the end zone via the legs of Quayshawn Simmons. Nice call.
And I was thinking more of just throwing it to the end zone, but why throw it when you can just run it? And once again, Simmons not touched, just much like his older brother, just takes it to the house, and not the defensive start that Kenny Walker wanted for the Swamp Foxes.
One thing the Patriots are, they're opportunistic. When you're giving them a chance, they take advantage of it. A short field for the third time today has given them their third offensive touchdown. The other score, their first, was the blocked field goal returned for the touchdown.
Oh, hit the upright.
That's the first time Aiden Weil has come in to kick today. You know what, check it. Chase Kennedy, 39, is the one who kicked that. So they missed it, but it's 27-0. And the Patriots are in control here early in the third on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. I don't know. As Patriots did early in the first half, take advantage of a short field. They've done it again, and they're up 27-0. Trooper Bob standing by with a special guest. So special that they're still getting ready, making sure everything looks right, sounds right, and we're going to hit Trooper Bob back up here in a minute.
Fort Dorchester, offensively, defensively, special teams. If you're Steve LaPrade, you have to be pleased with the effort from your football team thus far. One of those so-called trap games, although Ashley Ridge somewhat of a rivalry.
All the schools up here, that they're all around after Somerville had more schools added to the general area. Fort Dorchester around long before Ashley Ridge and Cane Bay. Trooper Bob, how's it go?
Yeah, we're down here with the principal, Karen Ratcliffe, here for Ashley Ridge. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. How things going a couple months into the school year over there at Ashley Ridge?
It's been going great. We're busy. We just finished the first quarter, and we're going strong.
DD2 night. We got the fair coming up next week.
Absolutely. This year we're trying something different. We are working with the Coastal Carolina Fair, and we've got a Dorchester District 2 night on November 5th. That's a Tuesday night. We're going to be showcasing a lot of our programs, our career and technology programs, our ag program. We're going to have our culinary. We're going to have all of our fine arts programs out there. So we want everybody to come out and join Dorchester District 2 for a great night at the fair.
And we got Halloween coming up and Thanksgiving. Are you ready for Thanksgiving?
Absolutely. We're ready to go.
Ready to take a little break. Well, thank you very much for coming out tonight.
No, thank you.
All right, there you have it. The crowd's still in it. Everybody's here. No one's left the field or the stands. Back to you guys.
Good football out there. You may as well hang around. See if Matt Duncan, who's committed to Temple, can get this thing going. So far, Troy Grant has really been the one carrying the load right there, number 3. And this is how. Look at that speed for Grant.
Whoa, breakaway.
Pushes off Edwards. And now Grant in a foot race. Angling. Touchdown.
And that's what Ashley Ridge needed. What a run by Grant. This young man probably close to 200 yards rushing tonight. Hit the seam, Darren, right up the middle. Really went untouched. And just the breakaway speed as he splits the defenders right there. Stiff arm, able to keep them off, and wisely started drifting to his left so that they wouldn't run him down, and had just enough gas to take it to the house. The Swamp Foxes are on the board.
It was only a matter of time before Grant broke one. He's got a 50-yarder today, a 30-yarder today, and now an 80-yarder. So, yeah, certainly getting close to 200.
And that's probably on about 4 or 5 runs. So he's been the workhorse. He has been the one. We see him giving a kid a hug there. That's what I'd like to see. Guys just kind of giving the little kid something to look up to. But, again, Darren, you know, like you said, he's been awfully close. And maybe that's the big play that they needed from Grant tonight, though, the lone bright spot for Ashley Ridge.
Let me tell you something. If you can run away from this entire defense, like
Yes.
you're fast.
It's like you're moving.
You're fast. That is going to be on Troy Grant's highlight tape for the next year and a half. He's a junior. Maybe a little bit undersized at 5'7", 160, but there is speed. Lots of it.
And give credit to Ashley Ridge offensive line. You know, in those situations there, you don't have to necessarily block for entirely 3, 4, or 5 seconds. Just hold them up long enough to allow your back to get by them and get into the secondary. And he's so quick, it does not take him long. That's a big run for Mr. Grant.
This is just the 4th game Fort Dorchester has given up points of any kind. That's how good this defense is.
So now let's see if the defense can come up with a stop and get the ball back to the offense.
Well, first you're going to have to take down Desisher, which will happen, but not until he puts him inside Swamp Fox territory again. Man, just speed everywhere.
When Kenny Walker looks at this tape there, and the one thing that he definitely is going to feel like they could have done better is the special teams between the punt return, the punt block, the kickoff returns, the punt returns. Just seems like all night long the special team advantage has definitely gone to Fort Dorchester, which has allowed them to get these short fields. And with a big offense like that, you just don't want to put them in that situation.
So once again, Zoltan Osborne is out there. I think it's probably a fair assumption at this point that DeAndre Sabb won't be on the field tonight.
And you hate it for that young man as being a senior, as the officials waving someone off the field.
Yeah, they want the tight end there, McKelvey, off, and I'm not sure why.
Something about his equipment.
Doesn't look. He didn't fix anything when he got to the sideline. I know that. Officially out of bounds on the return. Desisher just shy of midfield. Osborne pulls this one and now is going to throw. He's got Simmons here who puts on the brakes and then starts again. The old basketball play.
You got to love that.
Stop and start.
You got to love that RPO there. There, that run pass option. Looks like he's going to run. And at the last minute, he just flings it out there to a wide open Simmons. My question is, who's faster? Quay Simmons or Raekwon Simmons, who's now
up at Wingate
playing on Saturdays?
I don't. If you ask them, I guess they'll each say they are.
We'll settle it at Thanksgiving. when Raekwon comes home for Thanksgiving dinner, we'll have him go out in the street and just have them run, see who's the fastest.
And we'll bring our cameras.
Exactly.
That way we can prove it. Man, that is a big block that helps Desisher get to the edge. We've got a flag in as well. And we'll have to check on this flag.
And, one thing that this Fort Dorchester offense does really well, Darren, is they make the defense run sideline to sideline. Very rarely do you see many things go straight ahead, but they're trying to get these athletes out in space, whether it be in the flats or even down the field, and that forces those defensive linemen and linebackers to run and just eventually wear down, in the second half.
They're going to run a little bit more after this penalty.
Some type of block. I was trying to read his list.
Watch the top of your screen.
Right there? Is that what it is? That's the only thing it could have been. Was it a crackback block, maybe? I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever seen that signal before.
Could have been two players engaged at once. Either way.
So it's first down and let's just say a long, long, long way.
In the 6 range, 25, 26. Osborne keeps this thing alive. On the run, he jumps and fires that one down to Desisher.
Are you kidding me? This kid is a freshman, probably 14 years old, 14 or 15. Just buys himself time, nothing there. Good job of moving his feet, gets into the clear, and just finds somebody, keeps his head up, Darren. That's what I like, looking down the field, looking to deliver the ball, and he got just about all of that yardage back as it's now second down facing Fort Dorchester.
Low Country Sports Orthopedics first down. That is not an easy throw right there. It may have looked somewhat simple.
One of the rare runs up the middle, Darren, is got to really pay attention to these movements. Looked like he still had the ball and actually already handed it off to his back, Wayne Wright.
Wright has 2 touchdowns tonight.
This would be huge, Darren, if they could force a fourth down here at Ashley Ridge.
It's 3rd and short. Wright just goes straight ahead there behind the meat of his offensive line to move the chains.
Fort Dorchester coordinator Ian Rafferty making the right decision. Just keep it simple. Of course, the big play on that was the first down play by Osborne. So that will, more importantly, Darren, keep the drive going and allow Fort Dorchester to take more time off the clock.
An invaluable experience for Osborne in this game that appears to be all his. Wright gets close. It's going to be 9, maybe 10, depending on the spot here.
And just as I just mentioned that Fort Dorchester hardly ever runs the ball straight up the middle, 3 straight plays they run the ball straight up the middle and having a lot of success.
So well coached. They're back and ready to go immediately. That'll be good enough for the first down there. Just riding Dwayne Wright here as we approach the 5-minute mark of the 3rd quarter.
And these are the type of drives that you're going to need later on in the season where you need to take some time off the clock, maybe shorten the game themselves. You know what you have from Osborne and Saab, but you have to have these offensive linemen that can put their hand in the ground, fire off the ball, and open up these running lanes.
They don't have their starting center in the game. They hope to have him back as soon as next week. Look at that move from Simmons, but he lost the ball. And what's the signal?
I was just about to say he's got to protect it.
It's a touchback.
Yeah. Simmons was very loose with the football. And had he been able to maintain possession, I was going to mention, needs to tighten it up. But you'll see the run here. A nice move getting to the end zone. But look how he's carrying the ball, Darren, away from his body like a loaf of bread. Tried to maybe stretch it over the pylon, and that's where he started to fumble it. And the Ashley Ridge defense will come up with a huge break.
Steve LaPrade probably telling him very similar thoughts. Protect that ball.
And heard Kenny Walker at halftime said they needed to catch a couple of breaks there, and they caught the big one on the last offensive possession, the touchdown by Grant. Now the defense forces a turnover. Now they have to go 80 yards, but we've seen them move the ball really all night long, just not be able to finish it with points.
Ashley Ridge takes a timeout. Seen it a couple times on quick changes that they haven't been able to get that play in quickly.
Let's take a look at Simmons there. Probably the only thing he's done wrong tonight. Great job, has a rushing touchdown. Kind of like the go-to wide receiver for Osborne. That's just a learning opportunity. As they say, Darren, it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. So I'm sure the next time Simmons is in that situation, he'll protect the football and carry it into the end zone.
It would raise a lot of eyebrows if Ashley Ridge would put points up on the board on this drive. Not only were they down 21-0 at the half, they were down 27-0 early in this one. And if they can strike for 2 scores pretty quickly, it would jostle a few eyes, that's for sure. They'll get it to Grant on the edge, and when he isn't running it, he's catching it. Maybe 7 more.
And you're right, Darren, because, should Ashley Ridge be able to put points on the board, then all of a sudden momentum is on their side, their confidence starts to build, and it seems like Bobby Marion and Matt Duncan now starting to get in somewhat of a rhythm, being kind of on the same page. Hadn't really thrown the ball down the field. Everything's been kind of swing passes, but let's see if the Swamp Foxes take a chance.
It'll be Duncan, and he powers for the first down. Last time I saw Ashley Ridge, I remember talking with Kenny Walker before the game, and he said Matt Duncan, not just because he's a lefty, but because he also has the size that he does. I mean, he can bruise you if he wants to go right at you. He's 210 pounds, give or take some. 6'2". He said there's Tebow in him. He can get the ball downfield. He can get behind it and really drive it. But when it comes to running, he might not run past you and around you, but he will happily try and go through you.
We love that toughness in your quarterback, but you also have to be smart as we got a penalty flag. And unfortunately, Darren, I think another false start against Ashley Ridge. It seems like they take 1 step forward, and they take 2 steps back because they keep penalizing themselves with silly penalties.
That's got to be about a handful now of pre-snap penalties for the Swamp Foxes. On 1st and 15, there's Ratliff, who spins away from the initial attempt immediately. Cameron Mitchell was right there behind him. He spun free. And he got back what was lost on the penalty, and then maybe an extra 2.
I think Darrell Ware and Jaden Garden are on the stop for Fort Dorchester. And you talk about size. You talk about Matt Duncan's size. A big target like that as a wide receiver, it's kind of hard to miss him.
Ratliff also a backup quarterback. So should Duncan miss a snap or 2, it could be Ratliff, even though I don't believe he's attempted a pass this year. Grant still can't get to the outside. Khalid Gadsden out there first. That's not the way to attack this defense. All of the runs, all of the success has come up the middle.
Yeah, Otis Mack also there for the assist. There's a penalty flag on the play. But one of those situations where that time Grant just not that fast. Got to give him a little bit of blocking.
It's on the Swamp Foxes. They're asking Steve LaPratt if he wants to accept the penalty or not. Check the left side of your screen.
I think it's going to be right here, kind of in the middle. The guilty party.
Busy day so far for Cameron Petrick. He's been playing both ways. Kenny Walker told me earlier today that he needs him to play both ways if they're going to have success in this one. That's their most experienced lineman. He's been a 4-year starter on this side of the ball. and has played when needed on the other side. A lot of misdirection. Out of the pile comes a Swamp Fox. On 3rd and 12, they're going to get it with Troy Grant again.
You know, we talked earlier about the lack of height by Grant, and in this situation, I think it helps him. He kind of hides behind that big offensive line and able to turn it up the field, kind of plants that left foot and turns it up and picks up a first down. So once again, as you called it there, in the misdirection of Ashley Ridge giving this Fort Dorchester defense fits tonight.
Another Low Country Orthopedics and Sports Medicine first down. This offense went over a quarter to start the game without a first down. And then it was Grant breaking a 50-yarder. That was their first, and that's an unfortunate break. Ladson bobbles it right into the hands of the Patriots. There's a flag down here as Wilson is just trying to find a little bit of room.
It looks like he's found it.
He found a lot more than a little. Wilson has probably run about 120 yards to pick up those 30. We got to check on the flag back at midfield.
And a tough break for Ashley Ridge. A great pass thrown by Duncan, and unfortunately the receiver just not able to catch it cleanly, bobbles it, and goes right into the hands of Wilson.
Maybe that'll make the highlight tape for Friday Night Rivals, because the whole theme this halftime was tip drill.
So during the course of the run, I believe, Darren, is a block in the back. So be a 10-yard penalty from the spot. But you see here, very catchable pass. And unfortunately, you got to watch the ball all the way in. And in that situation, Shaheed Latson just was maybe looking to run up the field before coming up with the catch.
It was the second tip. I mean, granted, it's instinct. You're going for the ball after you botch it. But he went for it, and then that's what tipped it up, allowing Wilson to make the grab. 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. What really has been an even game from a lot of standpoints. I think you can take a lot of positives out of this if you're Ashley Ridge. Osborne takes his first big hit as he tries to get out of bounds there. Hurlbeck, whose name has been called a couple times, just a sophomore there. A lot of youth on this Ashley Ridge team. You can see this team starting to develop.
And how about the pressure applied by Anthony Jackson, the big guy, 6 foot, 320-pound senior, able to kind of break through the offensive line and force the hurry. So great pressure by Ashley Ridge.
I'll assume that was intentional. It looked like Osborne bobbled it, but Simmons ends up with it and has about 6.
Yeah, definitely a high snap. And Osborne, about the second or third time tonight that he's been able to secure it. And fortunately went right into the hands of Simmons.
The ball has definitely bounced the way of the Patriots today, that's for sure.
From the beginning of the game with the blocked field goal attempt.
He's returned 70 yards after the ball bounced right up into the midsection. Dangerous for Osborne. Still hasn't picked it up. Did Jackson get it? I think he did. I think Jackson, Anthony fell on it. Yep, sure did. And there's another break for the Swamp Foxes. Maybe the biggest one of the night for him.
The big guy with the hustle, my man. Anthony Jackson, 6'1", 320 on the hustle. Saw the ball, looked like almost like a steak from my man Jackson. He's able to pounce right on it, come up with the fumble recovery, and the Ashley Ridge offense back in business deep inside of Fort Dorchester territory.
Steak sounds good right about now.
Yeah, it does. Jackson saw that. He was determined. Of course, he had the hustle play a couple of plays before that. So, once again, Duncan with great field position. They had it in the first half. They got to capitalize here on this particular possession.
This is Grant, but Grant isn't going to get away. Darrell Ware all over him.
Let's take a look again at the replay, Darren, here. Just went over kind of off to the right and above his head. He tried to fall on it but couldn't do it, and that's why you don't quit on plays. You never know what's going to happen. And because of the hustle of Jackson, he's given his offense a great opportunity to put some points on the board here in the second half.
That will be the last play of the third quarter. Ashley Ridge threatening with 12 minutes to play, trailing by 20, hoping to spring the upset at Fort Dorchester. It's Stars and Strikes, Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Senior night at Fort Dorchester. Glad to be here alongside Everett German. I'm Darren Goldwater. Glad you're with us as Fort Dorchester has ridden the freshman arm of Zoltan Osborne to a 27-7 lead, although he hasn't thrown for a score. They've run for a few. But right now, Ashley Ridge has its best opportunity here after a big fumble recovery. Duncan gets out of there as the pocket collapses, and Emmanuel Johnson, one of the best defensive linemen in the state, on his back.
Yeah, Duncan thought he had an opening there, and again, we've talked about just the speed of this Fort Dorchester front seven, able to close that gap really fast. So Duncan's going to have to somehow, not really been able to throw the ball probably as much as he would like down the field. We can find something on a crossing pattern or something across the middle between those two safeties at the top of the screen.
Want to get most of this 9. They're going to try the screen here. Grant, wow. Hello. He met Maceo Montgomery.
Of course, Maceo already with a blocked field goal for a touchdown in the first quarter, and they read this perfectly. It's almost like they knew what Ashley Ridge was going to do. So a great call by the defensive coordinator of Fort Dorchester, who happens to be Steve LaPrade's son, Brent.
So now what do you dial up? That one obviously put Ashley Ridge in a pretty tenuous spot here. Down 20, you're going to go for it. Instead of getting half of the 9, they backed up. And they're going to back up more, but they got their timeout first. It's been a problem for Ashley Ridge. They're running out of timeouts.
They only have one timeout left after that. It's Bobby Marion instructing the offense of Ashley Ridge.
We've yet to crown our Rockstar Cheer champion of the night, so we're going to update you now. And Ashley Ridge has closed the gap. Last we saw, with over 500 votes, it was 60 to 40%. So we probably have a couple thousand votes at this point. But Fort Dorchester is in control here for the Rockstar Cheer of the night. How about the Will Lou Gray Never Stop Learning Stop of the night? I think that's a pretty good pick.
There you go. And it came early on the first or the second possession of the game, as Ashley Ridge attempted to strike first and go up with a blocked field goal. The return all the way for a touchdown. And And that is the Will Lou Gray stop of the game.
Pressure comes at Duncan. Ratliff has it on the edge. They needed 14 and lost one. This defense is well coached. It helps when you got speed and depth.
When you're Matt Duncan, you really don't have time to look over the field, assess the situation. It just makes it for a tough night for the Swamp Foxes.
So again, no official word on DeAndre Sabb. He does look fine. We were not told prior to the game that he would not play at all, only told that Osborne would see a lot of time.
Which he has.
Yes, he has. As in every snap. 3-4 yards right there for Dwayne Wright. That's Jaden Lee, the junior. About 7 tackles a game, who grabbed him.
And as you know, Darren, you always want to take positives away from every game. And for Kenny Walker, should they not be able to come back and get the win tonight, one thing has been very impressive is this team is continuing to play. They're down 21 nothing at the half. In the second half, and they've gone toe-to-toe with Fort Dorchester.
In fact, the second half, as Osborne alertly reads that one well, that one could have been picked off by Matt Horlbeck had he taken that little screen pass out there.
And even had he not completed it, Darren, it would have been a live ball because he was definitely looking to throw that behind, obviously where he was taken off. So, again, just a heady play by the freshman. Most freshmen would have said, you know what, it's designed to go there. I'm going to throw it even though there's a guy right there, in front of me.
Yeah, if they even saw that guy. All right, here's Wright bursting through, and that second level picks up the first down with a run of 15 yards.
Both teams now starting to establish the running game up the middle. Fort has done a great job really all night. A couple of touchdowns from straight up the middle. And as always, when you have a solid night on the ground, you have to compliment the offensive line. That's exactly what's going on tonight for Fort Dorchester. They've controlled the line of scrimmage all night, Darren.
Flag comes in after big 77. Anthony Jackson picks up another tackle. Almost all of the penalties tonight have come against Ashley Ridge. There's been a block in the back on Fort Dorchester and a helmet to helmet. That's it.
Another offsetting situation, which is always good because normally the second guy always gets caught. So fortunately, both parties. But hopefully, Darren, it's not somebody who's been obviously whistled for a personal foul before because, of course, I believe 2 personal fouls and you're ejected.
2 unsportsmanlike, yes. And that's the difference in some of the officiating. And I'm not sure, I'm assuming, I don't know this as a fact, but at the college level, you will hear an unsportsmanlike penalty called and then hear that is number so-and-so's first or second.
Right.
That doesn't happen at this level. You don't hear the number called out. That one leads his man a little bit too much. You wanted Parker, and now a late flag comes in. And I think this one is going against Fort Dorchester.
Jaden Lee thought he had a tipped interception. He probably saw all of the green grass in front of him. Just not quite able to secure it. A chop block.
It was at the very top of the offensive line for the Patriots, so the top of your screen as you're looking at it. Watch towards the end of the play. Yeah, we miss it down there, but that's where it was.
I trust you, Darren. If you said it, I didn't see it, but if you saw it, it happened.
I try and explain that logic at home a lot. It doesn't work like that.
But right now, obviously, you're Fort Dorchester. You have enough points to win the game. You just want to work this clock down, take as much time off the clock as you possibly can, and maybe just on every play, just run it down their throats to establish that rush game even more.
The Patriots will, though, at least they have shown that they do want to keep up the pace of this game. That's Jarvell Gordon on the stop. They went quickly a couple of times already on this possession.
And that's, you often tell kids no matter what the score is, you just continue to play because this is just an opportunity to gain more valuable experience and, something that you may learn today that could help you either next week or if you're fortunate enough for either team, to utilize it in the playoffs. So just continue to play.
Second down and about 20. Osborne showing off the arm, and we've got a lot of contact downfield without a flag. Incidental contact.
Yeah. Good no call there. It looked like their legs just kind of got tangled up. As you mentioned, Osborne, we knew that he had a big arm. We see it here. Lobs it down the right sideline. Great coverage by the secondary of Ashley Ridge.
You really know, watching someone throw the ball once, twice, if there's a strong arm. A lot of it is the snap of the wrist and how the ball just explodes out of the hand. Osborne's got it.
Of course, Steve LaPrat's had some good ones here.
But very few true pocket guys like this. He wants Desisher. Desisher wins the jump ball and takes it in. No flags.
You see the first guy down there to greet him, the quarterback himself. Great throw by Osborne. Like the defender just kind of got tangled, fell down. 61-yard bomb for Fort Dorchester. You think about all the great quarterbacks from obviously DeCarrion Joyner, who's now at South Carolina. Got it played at Penn State, Paul Cianciolo.
That, I asked Coach LaPrat earlier in the year, when was the last time you had such a good prospect as a pocket passer? He said, probably Cianciolo. I mean, Cianciolo went to Penn State, played a little bit, and then transferred out. I don't remember where he finished out his career. Nonetheless, Fort Dorchester has added to its lead on a 61-yard touchdown pass from Zoltan Osborne to Keith Desisher on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. We bring you back with the Stars and Stripes getaway and play of the night. It's a getaway and run, 80 yards play of the night for Troy Grant.
Untouched, straight up the middle. He struck. He's a star in the making. Be able to score the only points of the night for the Swamp Foxes.
Troy Grant, only a junior, but has looked really, really good here tonight and has really been consistent most of the year. Not much of a breeze. Nice night. Temperatures now down into the 60s. If you're watching this game and wondering about the World Series, it's a 2-0 lead for the Astros in the bottom of the fourth.
I hate to break it to you, buddy, but they wanted to know about the World Series. They probably aren't watching us, Darren.
You never know.
Split screen.
You never know.
That's exactly.
You just don't know. You gotta appease everybody.
Exactly.
Play to all the fans.
They are torn between Fort Dorchester and Ashley Ridge. And speaking of high school football, Darren, we need to get an update on that Oceanside Timberland game.
That was 21-20 Sharks at the half. Is it okay to shorten them to Sharks, or are they just Land Sharks?
Listen, it's been a rough week at Oceanside. You don't want those people on your bad side, so you need to call them the Oceanside Land Sharks. We don't want to be part of the assault.
Right. They're special sharks. They're like the Sharknado ones that can come on the land because they're land sharks. Well done, Nick Case, getting in the Nationals reference as Ryan Zimmerman hits a foul ball. You didn't hear it over the air, but he said they're not baby sharks, which, of course, is part of the mantra for the Nationals and Gerardo Parra this year. They are big, grown men land sharks. All right, back to football.
Trying to get us an update. I just texted my Friday Night Rivals football correspondent over at Park West Field in Mount Pleasant.
You got sources everywhere. Everett's been in the sports world down here for a long time as Chris Garland gets his second carry of the night.
That's amazing. You look at Duncan, he's 6'2", and by the time he takes the snap, I feel like he's like 4'11". Have you noticed how he literally squats almost all the way to the ground?
And it doesn't happen all the time because sometimes, obviously, he's back in the gun. But when he's under center, it looks like a very uncomfortable crouch. I agree.
Because he's just so tall. And actually, looks like Duncan's out.
Duncan is at the top of the screen here. So Ratliff is going to take this snap, but Duncan is on the field. That's him, very top of your screen. And this one's not going anywhere. Christian Payton, a sophomore, is pounded as he takes the handoff. It'll be third down.
Right on the stop, one of the many Patriots to wrangle him in. And that misdirection doesn't look quite as good when it's not Mr. Grant back there taking off the handoff.
It doesn't develop as fast, that's for sure.
Well, he's had a big night tonight. Troy Grant, like you mentioned, 5'7", 160, almost like a scat back. Junior, he's back. Is that him? No, that's not him to the left. So Grant.
Ratliff's still in there. And Ratliff throws it short. You know what? I said Duncan was on the field previously. He wasn't. That's not him. So it begs the question, is Matt Duncan healthy?
Yeah, he's trying to find him on the sideline. But Duncan did not take.
It certainly wasn't noticeable if he was hurt.
And also the same for Grant. I mean, we didn't see Grant on the field in that possession either. So Dampier able to punt it away.
Duncan does not look hurt. He is standing there on the sideline, fully dressed, with his helmet still on.
On the offensive coordinator, Bobby Marion. Just a tough night for Duncan. Just not able to get his team in the end zone as much as he would like.
Crews Chevrolet drive of the game here, led by Zoltan Osborne, as they have all been. A little bit of Simmons, part of this Crews Chevrolet drive of the game. And some Dwayne Wright.
You're a frequent viewer of Friday Night Rivals, Darren. You often hear me each week say so-and-so and so kind of reminds me of so-and-so and so, or looks like so-and-so has got a new quarterback in for Fort Dorchester.
Do we say it a little more clear? That you so-and-so and so looks like so-and-so and so.
I was trying to set it
I got
up,
you, man.
You know, Aaron Wellborn, by the way, in for Fort Dorchester. But I was going to say Zoltan Osborne, Darren.
Yes.
Now this is lofty, but I'm just saying from a physical standpoint, the way he flings it, They're having a shark attack there in Washington right now.
And in the booth.
He kind of reminds me of a certain quarterback that wears 16 up in Clemson.
Yes, the comparisons are there to Lawrence. Now, again, there is a lot of time left. By the way, pretty shifty running there for Mel Wilder, 5'8", 160-pound junior.
But I could see it in him, even the way he throws the football, the way he kind of carries himself. But just more impressively, I mean, the kid's just a freshman. As you see again, Wilder with the big run up the middle. And that's the thing. There's so much depth at this Fort Dorchester program. Is there a penalty flag? Just, too deep there, and guys, get an opportunity. And as we know about Fort Dorchester this season, basically blowing just about everybody out.
Everybody.
Which allows these kids that are younger to get some valuable experience.
That's been part of the key to their success through the LaPrade era.
Right.
I mean, how often did you see DeCarrion Joyner play 2 quarters?
Right.
And still get Player of the Year in the state.
Nice stop by. Is that Jaden Lee? Again, we've said his name several times tonight.
I believe if it wasn't Colby Harmon. Oh, no, that's the freshman. That's 48 instead, Christian Garland. Younger brother of the running back Garland. Kenny Walker told me earlier today, hey, just make sure you know 48. He said, I think I put him on the roster, right? And he said that because he hasn't played a ton this year, but the fact that he's playing in this game tells you everything you need to know about the freshman.
Right.
He's got talent.
And O.J. Washington's got moves.
Yes, he does. And he has spun out of bounds close to the goal line. So O.J. Washington's first touch sets the Patriots up 1st and goal.
You have to compliment these wide receivers. Normally when you think of wide receivers, you want guys that are fast with great hands that can make the plays. But these Fort Dorchester wide receivers, they do a great job of shadow blocking and blocking down the field to allow their running backs to get additional yardage.
So many guys interchangeable, like 5'8" to 5'10", 160, 170. Not going to get in. Horlbeck grabbed him from behind. He's had a heck of a game. 42 there, the sophomore.
And I was just going to say, Darren, for Kenny Walker, he's going to look at this film and, yeah, he's probably going to end up losing by, obviously 27 or more. But, I mean, his kids have played hard, Darren. I mean, these kids have competed, but I just think some of the miscues on the special teams just really put his team, put their backs against the wall.
Here's Wilder protecting it with both arms as he adds to the lead. It's a 40 spot for Fort Dorchester. But you know what? This score, I don't think it's indicative of the game. Everett's been pointing out just how hard Ashley Ridge has been playing.
And from the defensive standpoint, I mean, unfortunately, the offense not able to really go on long, sustained drives. Even when you look at the one touchdown that they had, it was a big run, by Grant up the middle. So when your defense is on the field so long, just eventually, you're just going to wear down and tire out. And that's what Fort Dorchester banks on. It's just beating you down, and then in the fourth quarter, pulling away.
Chase Kennedy missed his extra point attempt last time, and they'll get him one here. 41-7 with 3.5 minutes to play here at Fort Dorchester. The Patriots will improve to 8-0 and have the matchup with Somerville, which is off. They're off tonight. They've got that coming up. The U.S. Marine Corps player of the game. Who is it? It's Zoltan Osborne. True freshman gets the start in place of DeAndre Sabb. He's slung it around. He has showed off that arm. And he's even run it well. I think the best thing he's done today, Everett, I think it's been with his mind and making the right decisions.
Yeah, not turning the ball over, just extending plays, finding open guys, keeping his head down the field, looking to throw. We look at the touchdown pass here. And I'm telling you, TL up in Tiger Town, he resembles him a lot as he's our Marines player of the game.
Does he resemble last year's Trevor Lawrence or this year's Trevor Lawrence?
I think this year's Trevor Lawrence is just bored.
Bored?
I mean, you're blowing everybody out. You're like, hey, let's see if I can try
but
this.
They've got matching. They've got flows here.
Okay,
maybe. Zoltan, I feel your pain, man. I got the curls too, and you rock them way better than I do. I shave them. It's not easy living with those curls.
Yeah, he's got to be BMC on campus if you're the freshman quarterback leading this outstanding Fort Dorchester football team.
I give him props, though. That's strong right there. And again, coming from another curly-haired fella.
I don't have that problem, so I'll take your word for it again, Darren.
Yeah, no, it's a problem.
But that's what is also a problem, but a good problem to have is when you're Steve LaPrade, you got two quarterbacks that you know can get the job done and that can lead you. So should one struggle in a particular situation or a game, you can always have someone that can back him up. And that's just, obviously Sab, the more athletic quarterback of the two, dual threat, while Osborne seems to be just that smooth, level-headed guy that can stand in the pocket and make plays. So a good problem for Steve LaPrade to have.
Owen Ratliff didn't look comfortable running that option and put Christian Payton in a really bad spot.
Yeah. It's like he almost threw it back 5 yards. If he would have just stopped where he was and got tackled, he would not have lost as many yards.
Ratliff came in on the last drive.
So maybe just an opportunity to get Ratcliffe a little bit of experience. As you mentioned, Duncan fine.
It is interesting that in a game of this stature, a quarterback committed to Temple has been taken out of this game for whatever reason. Going to try the option this way. Ratliff makes the early decision to keep it, and then he went into the third line of defense there.
Who was that?
Michael Wooden, 24 it is. And if they're going to get a helmet shot here, you could easily tag it on Ratliff.
Right. Everybody trying to lower their heads and make the big run. Yeah, wow.
Got it on the defense.
Let's take a look at Stars and Strikes replay here as Ratcliffe turns the corner. And right here just plowing through. And yeah, it looks like they just kind of ran into each other.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one to make.
And if you look at it, Ratcliffe is taller than Wooden, so he would have to lower his head in order to make helmet-to-helmet contact with Wooden.
So Owen Ratliff gets that low as well, although he fumbles this one and covers it up. Takes another shot from the same guy there, Wooden.
Yeah, so if you think about it, for Ashley Ridge, going to have to obviously get a win next week. Get that momentum going into the playoffs. Fort Dorchester will get ready for the showdown with Somerville.
Here's Payton now. Oh, okay, we'll try this side. A little bit more room on this side. And he's body slammed. That woke up the Fort Dorchester sideline. They enjoyed that one.
That's Sheldon Grant with the WWE suplex, it seemed like.
And they're going to give him 15 yards after it because of celebration. He or the team, one of the two.
But you got to like those guys. Those guys, normally you can say those guys don't get a lot of playing time, but here at Fort Dorchester, I'm sure they do. But you like to see all kids, Ashley Ridge and Fort Dorchester be rewarded for their hard work Monday through Thursday. And get a chance to showcase what they can, what they can do.
We got 2 penalties here, so maybe this is another instance of offsetting personal fouls. We've had that twice. Oh, maybe there's only one.
That's about, 45 yards on this drive of penalties against the Patriots. And that, I know, will not sit well with Steve LaPrade. We take a look at the replay here. I guess that right there is where they call the face mask. He did let it go, but he did indeed grab the face mask, so.
And then celebrated. So he's penalized 15 yards and then half the distance because they were at the 20. So 25 yards in penalties gives Owen Ratliff and company a little bit of a chance here. There's an opening for Chris Garland. That's the older brother of 48, Christian, the freshman linebacker we talked about. with a minute to play here at Fort Dorchester.
Tyree Staten, one of the Patriots on the stop. And you know this defense, they want to keep Ashley Ridge out of the end zone. The Swamp Foxes want to add one more touchdown on the board for good measures.
It's really a pride thing here for both sides. Fort Dorchester's second, third teamers out here, they don't want more points on the board. But
play.
Garland is going to get them untouched. So Ashley Ridge with his second rushing touchdown of the night. One from 80 yards and one from 2.
You know, you're always looking for Steve LaPrade. Always looking for you don't want your kids to think they played a perfect game. So he will definitely point this out in film study, the penalties, the sloppy play to finish the game. And for Kenny Walker, conversely, hey, you want to highlight that, hey, guys, we didn't quit. We played all the way to the final whistle. And you hope that you can build off of that going into next week.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positives if you're Ashley Ridge. The score isn't indicative of how well they played. If you think about it, special teams were a big problem because of punts and, well, a blocked field goal that was returned for a touchdown, and then punts that eventually set up Fort Dorchester with a short field.
Easily 21 points.
Oh, the blocked field goal is 7. 3 more possessions where they had the ball at midfield or right around midfield. So that's the difference in the game.
Right. And give credit to Fort Dorchester. A lot of times they got that outstanding field position because their defense did such a great job of backing Ashley Ridge deep into their own territory. So,
yeah, you got to take advantage. I mean, you're given opportunities, and I pointed this out a little while ago during the game. A very big positive for the Patriots is how opportunistic they are. When they're given the chance, they're going to take it.
And that's what the good football teams do, is you have to make the most of your opportunities. And we saw really right off the bat, Fort Dorchester gave Ashley Ridge an opportunity. 1st and goal from the 5. The Swamp Foxes did not take advantage of it. Not only did they not take advantage of it, they ended up giving the Patriots 7 points on the block. So, yeah, that's sometimes that's the difference between a good team and a great team and a win and a loss.
Almost looked like he called for the fair catch there, Seaman, but maybe he was calling off his teammate.
So everybody trying to get their names in the books. I guess my question, Aaron, is now that I've had a chance to see this Fort Dorchester defense, and again, no slight to Stahl, but how did Stahl score 28, whatever they scored last week, against this Fort Dorchester defense?
I'll tell you what Steve LaPrade said, and his answer was Stahl has a ton of athletes out there. It's dependent on who's on the field at any given time.
Right.
But when the full complement of athletes is available to them, he said they're a darn good football team. And he also said maybe it helped to wake his team up a little bit because that's the first time his defense was really scored on significantly.
And you have to think about somewhat of a rivalry with Stahl being right down the street right here on Ashley Phosphate Road. So I'm sure a lot of those kids know each other.
Welburn handles that low snap. Wilder on what will probably be the final play of the game. A game that DeAndre Sabb watched from the sideline as his true freshman counterpart, Zach Osborne, not only performed admirably well, but was the U.S. Marine Corps player of the game as well. Fort Dorchester gives up a late score. And the 14 points put on the board by Ashley Ridge, the second most that the Patriots have allowed all year, opposite the 30 that Stahl scored on them in the first half last week. Fort wins it 41-14. Stick with us. The presentation of that trophy presented by RKO Total Graphics and the player of the game to Zach Osborne when we get you back on Friday Night Rivals. sometimes for the trophy presentation, it's hard to find whoever it may be amongst the student athletes down there, but not the case when it's Trooper Bob down there. He should be quite easy to see down there. And there he is with Steve LaPratt.
All right, here we go. We got the player of the game. Coach, impressive win, 41-14. How proud are you of your team?
I'm very proud. This is one of those games that we knew we had to win. We got to get by this one to get next week and hopefully win region championship.
Anything you stressed in practice all week for them to come out and put 41 points on the board?
Yeah, whoop the devil out of Ashley Ridge. That's what we stressed. So that's what we did. I'm happy.
Congratulations on the win, Coach. We want the Stars and Stripes trophy presentation Friday Night Rivals. Congratulations.
Love it. Love the honesty. Whoop the devil out of them. And yeah, they pretty much did. Thanks all our sponsors for making FNR possible. Another exciting week, and it'll wrap up next week with First Baptist getting featured on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Later tonight, ABC News 4 at 11. Friday Night Rivals gives you the complete rundown of scores from around the Lowcountry, and we'll see you next week. The Rivalry, Porter Gout, and First Baptist Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Thanks to our crew, my buddy Everett German. I'm Darren Goldwater. Go Nats!